Why Open Document Format is a better standard than Office Open XML, Microsoft Office proprietary document standard. I will try to explain it in an easy way because the issue is not that easy to understand, especially if you are not a power user. If we look at the definition of standard, the definition provided by ISO, it makes it clear that the standard has to be defined in a way that contributes to the fairness and market relevance of the standard itself, and therefore promotes confidence in the use of the standard. This happened for Open Document Format, did not happen for Office Open XML. Advantages of standard are also clear. A standard ensures consistency of features, and this goes to the advantage of users that gets the latest technology and gets the latest features without reinventing the wheel every time. There are standards that cover many topics, and they've been reused and implemented by Open Document Format while they've been ignored by Office Open XML. Again, we are talking about standards quality, not about format quality, because it's the standard that protects the user. Unfortunately, standards may be hidden to the users, as it happens in the case of electricity. If you look at these pictures, these are proprietary plugs, but they hide a standard voltage that allow people to plug in their device without any risk, independently from the location, by means of an adapter. Document format standards are never visible to the user because the software shows only the surface of the content iceberg. Contents are complex. Document contents are extremely complex, especially the latest generation of digital documents. And software shows on the screen only the thinnest layer of these contents, but underneath that there is an incredible amount of code to reproduce all the different characteristics of the document. If this is standard, then compatibility and interoperability are also granted and easy. The importance of standard was not discovered, but was underlined with the standardization of the HTML format. If HTML was not free and open, today we would not be able to access the incredible resources of the web. And the fact that it was possible to protect and defend the evolution of HTML as a standard made it clear to the industry that it was possible to have also open document standard, changing the document paradigm, going from the analogic document that was focused on the printed version, and the value of retaining the visual aspect was one key asset of these analogy documents, and the document was created for others to read. When we move to the digital document, and the digital document is the future, the digital document is focused on exchanging contents, and the value is preserving contents over aspect. You can have a slightly different aspect, but what is important is that contents are preserved. The document have to be created for others to add value. By adding our own bits to a document, we contribute to the value of that document. And therefore it is important to have a file format which is totally interoperable, which is exactly the same independently from the software that is used to develop that format. And this is only possible with Open Document Format, because that is the only true document standards, and it offers freedom of choice to users. ODF is simple, solid, is robust and secure, is consistent across operating system, is based on different existing ISO standards, and is predictable and consistent in terms of behavior versus contents and formats. If you create an ODF document with two different software, ODF is so consistent that the document will be quite similar, even if created by two software with a completely different approach to writing the format. And last but not least, ODF is human readable by normal user. This because ODF, the philosophy behind ODF was to design a vendor neutral format, starting from almost from scratch and using existing standards when possible. Although this has meant for some software vendors to tweak the software more than if they continue to use their original formats. But the advantage for interoperability was so important that they completely justified this effort. So if you have a real standard, you will have a 0 day when all documents will have to be converted to the standard. The so-called backward compatibility is not really possible with a standard. And in fact, Office OpenXML has completely different characteristics. It's artificially complex, and as such is insecure. Is not consistent across operating system and platform. You develop, you write, you think you're writing the same document, but the reality is that you're writing a different document that has that on screen has the same appearance, but creates additional issues to the PC for being managed. In addition, it completely ignores many ISO standards and it reinvents the wheel when this is absolutely not necessary. And it's also unpredictable and not consistent. You create a document and then you create the same document with a different version of the same software, and that document is completely different. Again, you see it exactly the same on screen, but the reality is that the document is completely different in terms of code, and this makes it difficult for software to manage it in a consistent way. And last but not least, Office OpenXML is not human readable even by power user. This because the philosophy was completely different. Office OpenXML was designed by Microsoft for the Microsoft environment, completely ignoring the need of interoperate with other environments, with other software environments, and no attention for interoperability with other software and with the vendor neutral standard. So the difference, the basic difference between the two formats is that while ODF was designed for in the early 2000s for the next 20 to 50 years to liberate user from the lock-in strategy built into yesterday and today's proprietary format and foster interoperability. Office OpenXML was designed as a pseudo standard to propagate yesterday document issues and lock-in for the next 20 to 50 years. Of course, it is easy to understand why this has been done. The value of the market is over $25 billion, and of course, by doing this, Microsoft is protecting their large chunk of this $25 billion market. You see this in the reuse of existing standards, as you see for ODF, the use of every available standard, but we can add the Gregorian calendar, we can add the standard for colors, we can add the standards of language code. Office OpenXML implements only the Dublin Core standard to be compatible with XML, but even in this area, it manages XML in a way to to transform into useless things the XML design advantages that are if properly developed and managed, XML provides documents of superior quality, which are easy to understand, are neutral in terms of time, are simple to convert and easy to create. By adding useless complexity, Office OpenXML kills basically all the advantage of being based on XML. Let's make an example. This is a way of our brain sees red and computer calls it with a number, with a standard number. Let's now look at how ODF describes that color in, as you can see, three different modules or three different applications, same consistent way of describing the color, format, color, and the color number. If you look at Microsoft Office, they will use a completely different syntax for each application, a syntax that in some cases has no meaning. Why A with PowerPoint? Why color, the full color tag in Excel and CLR in PowerPoint? It's really difficult to understand if you don't see the hidden reason. And why, for instance, for Excel, you have to added F on the color. This creates additional issues, but is probably probably not enough to protect the market. So what Microsoft did is they ISO approved an open standard, which was approved as Office OpenXML strict, but this has never been implemented properly by Microsoft Office. On the contrary, 14 years after the announcement of the standard and 13 years after the standard approval, the default is still the transitional, which is not an ISO standard. Therefore, all the people that think that they're writing a standard document when they're using Microsoft Office, they are unfortunately creating a proprietary document. In addition, of course, there is the fact that Office OpenXML strict support is not common to all versions of Microsoft Office. For instance, there are many versions of Microsoft Office for Macintosh that are not supporting strict. Different version of Microsoft Office 365 that are not supporting strict. And although there was an official statement by Microsoft in 2007 telling that strict would have been deployed since Office 2010, we are 10, 11, 12 years later, and we still see this transitional, non-standard, proprietary, fully proprietary format being implemented by Office. And some examples, in addition to the previous one, some examples of poor XML, based on the XML conventions, documents should be human legible and clear, and terseness of the markup is not important. And the original version of Microsoft Office Transitional, which is still reflected in today's Microsoft Office Transitionals, is exactly going in the opposite direction, to make XML not human readable and to make it terse, while this is not important. And just to make some examples, there are words which are used without vowels in some tags and with the vowels in other tags. And naming conventions are confused and are not consistent. So this adds complexity, and so we, at the end, we can say that we have the simplicity of ODF, which is where the complexity is low or even non-existing or reduced to the minimum, and XML files are always human readable. And to the opposite, you have Office OpenXML, where the complexity is the highest possible one in relation to technology, and XML files are not human readable. A byproduct of this hidden complexity is that Microsoft Office documents are the preferred malware carrier since basically their inception. This is a research made by the German government in 2011. The research was produced by Symantec, and as you can see, all the formats are Microsoft Office formats. In 2018, Kaspersky Lab made an announcement where 70% of all malware was transported by Office documents. And in 2021, AppRiver, in their global threat report, confirmed that the situation has not changed. Numbers are slightly, between this research are slightly different, because each research is looking for something different. But if you look at this later one, you see that XLS virus is the first, and doc virus is the third. So we have a lot of malware carried by Excel file and Word files. And if we look at our comparison of CVE, common vulnerabilities and exposure over time, we see that the number of these for LibreOffice, which are related to the ODF format, and the number for Microsoft Office, which is related to the Office OpenXML format, is significantly different all over the years. And as I said before, the Office OpenXML seems to be also insecure, in addition to be an issue for interoperability. On the other hand, what could you expect from a company that in 2004 released a manual how to lock in your clients? And this company is Microsoft. Thank you for listening so far, and if you have additional questions on you want to ask something related to this topic, I'm happy to answer it.